welcome to Mash on This, Mashable's daily culture and entertainment show that gives you tomorrow's biggest news stories today. Sponsored by Ally's Hardest Working Dollar. I'm your host, a Tom Llamas whose face is just one large cyst, also known as Dory Greenberg. On Mash on This, we give you a quick rundown of what we think is the best the internet has to offer, so be sure to tell us what you think in the comments, and we'll get to them at the end of the show. Don't be shy, we want to hear from you. Now, let's get into it. Can you believe that we are only 6 months into Trump's presidency? 6 long months. We still have so much more Trump time left, and I don't know if my psyche can handle it. Because Trump fired off a couple grenades on Twitter this morning that could have possibly be the most dangerous statements he has ever written. Trump explained that after consulting with his generals and military experts, the United States government would not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military. He then finished out his tweets by saying the military's victory cannot be burdened with medical costs and disruption transgender military members would entail. This is a U.S. president presenting military policy via Twitter. This isn't just him sitting on the toilet commenting on how sad the fake news is. This is real. By talking to his base without having to look directly into a camera and address all of the American people, this is a cowardly move on his part. And ending with a thank you kind of sounds more like a giant FU than gratitude. Has he ever ended one of his tweets with a thank you? Like, why this one? He's referencing human beings and their identities as disruptions. According to the National Center for Transgender Equality, there are currently an estimated 134,000 transgender veterans in America, and over 15,000 transgender people serve today. The icing on this horrendous Hippocratic cake is that while running for president, Trump explicitly pledged his support for members of the LGBT community. And maybe he's just forgotten what the T stands for? What do y'all think about these tweets, and how do you handle your Trump-induced anxiety? Let us know in the comments. Now, listen up, nerds, emphasis on the listen part, because we have got some big Apple Star Wars crossover news right here. According to the Wall Street Journal, Johnny Ive, the design mastermind behind all of Apple's iconic products for the last 20 years, was directly inspired by these sleek stormtrooper uniforms from Star Wars when he created Apple's earbud design. Ive reportedly told The Force Awakens director J.J. Abrams that the rounded white-shelled armor of the Empire's foot soldiers was the look he had in mind when he designed Apple's earbuds. Y'all hear that? Apple white, same color as Stormtrooper white. But before you go buck wild in your Star Wars fan fiction forum, you should know that this is not the first time Johnny Ive has cited Star Wars as one of his design influences. In 2013, on Charlie Rose, he called the films really, really informative to our view of the future. So the next time you pop in your earbuds, know that you're basically wearing a Stormtrooper uniform and acting on behalf of the Empire. Is that a good thing? I don't know. Who cares? Looks dope anyway. A couple weeks ago, we discussed a pretty hilarious story about 2 Tinder users named Mashable and Josh who ended up running a gag involving super delayed text messages for 3 long years. Their story ended up going viral, which led to Tinder itself rewarding the Kent college students with a dream vacation to Hawaii. But rather than let the 2 meet organically before their free vacation, Good Morning America swooped in and forced them to meet face-to-face on live TV so we, the people, could also enjoy it. But before Michael Strahan and Lara Spencer introduced the daters to each other, they made sure to thoroughly pick apart the hilarious timeline leading up to this point, because a joke isn't funny until it's painstakingly examined at. Let's take a look.
All right, so I'm going to ask Josh. Josh tweeted out this funny conversation that these 2 have been having for 3 years. Did you, and it went viral, by the way. Like, people were like, oh my gosh, this is real. Did you clear that with Mashable first?
Oh no, I not at all. Matter of fact, I didn't even know Michelle's last name until the day I posted it, and a friend of a friend commented her name in the bottom. So it took 3 years for even me to learn her last name.
And when you realized that the tweet went viral, what happened after that? Were you upset by it, Mashable?
No, I was not upset by it. I thought it was hilarious, and it was great because we got to share our little joke that's kind of been private between my best friends and I with the rest of the world, so I didn't mind too much at all.
I'll be honest, I feel like we're in the dating game right now.
Cool. So after a contrived series of dating game type questions, GMA finally allowed Mashable and Josh to emerge behind the cardboard wall to see each other in the flesh. And it was something.
Yeah, we're going to give you guys a countdown. You're going to meet on the heart. Are you ready? Are you ready for the moment?
In the audience, are you guys ready?
Are you guys ready? Ready? 3, 2, 1.
It is so good to finally meet you. I'm blushing like crazy.
Okay. 3 years you've been going back and forth. You do have a lot of things in common. How does it feel to meet finally in person in front of millions of people, by the way?
Yeah, you know, we just had to wait and do it on Good Morning America, I guess.
Seems like the perfect ending for this.
Best meeting I could imagine in front of all of you. Are you kidding me? It's amazing.
What do your parents think of all of this?
Honestly, I hope they're thinking good things. No, it's just been a crazy adventure so far, so I know it took me by surprise, and it definitely took them by surprise as well.
My parents have been losing their minds. We've been on the phone constantly. They are dying to finally meet you. Not much with me, but
Yeah, nothing screams romance like asking two people who just met what their parents think. It's a shame because Mashable and Josh genuinely seem like cute kids who could really get along with each other. But GMA, selfish and only seeing them as ratings gold. I still hope they have a cool time in Maui though. We are rooting for them. Ew, love. On top of acting, writing, directing, producing, lecturing at colleges, modeling, being an activist, and writing New York Times op-eds, James Franco has found some free time to explore yet another avenue, specifically that of philosopher. He's teamed up with Dr. Elliot Michelson, a lecturer at King's College London, and they have launched a YouTube channel together called Philosophy Time. It's dedicated to exploring philosophical topics from a contemporary point of view. The first 4 videos for the channel were uploaded yesterday, and they're about 5 minutes long and feature a third person who is an expert on each specific topic. Here's a taste of Philosophy Time that discusses beauty with Professor Andy Egan from Rutgers University.
Make sense of this kind of observer relativity and observer dependence of secondary qualities is that when we think that something's sour, we're not taking a stand on what the world is like. We're taking a stand on our particular position or location or situation within the world.
So if we apply that to beauty, could we say that because one person has a specific stance in the world and another has a different one, that this person might think dressing like a goth is beautiful, and another might think, well, a flower print dress summer dress is beautiful, and that is a response to their positions in the world.
One of the things that's going to be hard in fleshing that story out is to try and cash out the parallel to the taste case more specifically. So in the sourness case, it's pretty easy, right? So there's kind of response dependence story about sourness where you say, to think that the lime is sour is to think that you're one of the people who's disposed to have that kind of response to lime.
You know, I really did want to scoff at this whole thing and just write it off as another pretentious, quirky James Franco project, but it's honestly not bad. And given the times that we're living in, intellectual thinking needs to be elevated and celebrated, even if these conversations are quick and right on the coattails of someone else's fame. But what do you make of this new philosophy channel? Let us know in the comments. It's a good picture of him. It's been 20 years since the movie Titanic broke box office records and solidified Leo and Kate as Hollywood royalty, but there are some people who resent the film because of its ending. Spoiler alert for the one person left who hasn't seen it, Jack couldn't fit on Rose's wooden door, so he drowned, and everyone was very sad. However, some people are still convinced that Jack could have fit on the door too. And this may or may not be the driving force behind James Cameron's new 1-hour National Geographic documentary, which will explore the historical accuracy behind the Titanic movie. He says he is going to use the latest research, technology, and science to reassess whether or not he was able to truly get all the facts right. But the documentary will be coming out sometime this December, which is the perfect time of year for folks at home to recreate that famous last scene. Just find your nearest freezing cold body of water, grab a 1 to 2 person sized piece of wood, and try not to let go. Oh, try so hard. It's fun for the whole family, especially the little ones. And now for some very slimy news. Take a look at this guy. Yeah, it was posted on Twitter by a pretty funny writer who goes by Mads, but no, this is no rabbit. It is in fact the giant African land snail, which can grow up to 8 inches in length and 5 inches in diameter. No one is sure exactly where this pic was taken or who was holding this humongous oddity, but this species of snail is apparently very devastating to ecosystems and carries pathogens, which is why they are banned in the US. Additionally, they possess some threat to humans because they can also carry a parasitic nematode that causes meningitis. Naturally, the internet had some thoughts about this natural behemoth. Those who can't seem to appreciate the weirder parts of life reacted with fear, while others brought some pop culture references into the mix. But if you're like me, you immediately thought of the giant racing snail from the classic book and 1984 movie, The Never-Ending Story. Right? The similarities are uncanny. But yeah, it's a good day to be that snail, I guess. Biggest snail on the block.